It was 2:17 a.m. when I first heard my own voice coming from the apartment above me. At first, I thought I was half dreaming. I live alone, top floor, corner unit, no neighbors above. The building's old, the kind where every sound has a story, but this wasn't pipes or wind, it was me. A quiet, familiar tone muffled through the ceiling, repeating the last thing I'd said a few minutes ago while scrolling Reddit. I'd whispered, "God, I'm so tired." And then from above, "God, I'm so tired." Same inflection, same lazy sigh at the end. I froze. The air felt heavy, the way it does before a thunderstorm. I muted the TV, the phone, everything. Silence, except for that faint echo above me. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe someone was watching an old voice recording I'd sent. Maybe my phone had connected to a Bluetooth speaker upstairs. Except, I don't own a Bluetooth speaker, and no one lives upstairs. The ceiling popped once. A slow, deep crack, like someone shifting their weight directly above my head. I said, louder this time, "Hello!" From above, "Hello!" That's when the hairs on my arm stood up. It wasn't playback. It was a response. I grabbed the broom and tapped the ceiling. 3 knocks. 3 knocks came back. I tried to tell myself I was imagining it, that the sound was bouncing off somewhere, but curiosity is a terrible thing. I climbed onto a chair and pressed my ear against the plaster. At first, there was nothing, just the faint hum of electricity. Then quietly, laughter. My laughter. Except drawn out, slower. Wrong. I stumbled down, heart pounding. I switched on every light in the apartment. The windows reflected my face back at me, pale and unsure. Then I heard it again, the voice, closer now, right above the window frame. "Don't go near the window." I froze mid-step. The voice wasn't coming from the ceiling anymore. It was inside the wall. I backed away until my shoulder hit the door. My brain was screaming, "Leave," but my legs wouldn't move. And then, faintly, from behind the plaster, "You're already here." Something in the ceiling cracked. Bits of paint drifted down like dust. I looked up and saw something impossible. The reflection of my face in the ceiling paint, not mirrored like glass, but rippling through the white surface as if it were water. It smiled. I didn't. That was the moment fear turned physical. I could taste it, metallic and sharp. I ran, grabbed my keys, didn't even put on shoes. I bolted down the stairwell, slammed the door to the street, and didn't stop until I reached my car. I spent the rest of the night parked under a streetlight, engine running, trying to convince myself I hadn't just lost my mind. The next morning, I went straight to the landlord's office. The woman looked up my unit number and frowned. She said, "There's no apartment above yours. It's just the sealed attic. No tenants, no power." She even showed me the maintenance log, last opened 5 years ago for a roof leak. I asked to see it. She hesitated, then handed me the key. When I opened the attic hatch, the smell hit first. Old wood, dust, and something like burnt plastic. There was a single bulb dangling from the ceiling, dim and flickering. The space was empty, except for one thing. A small, portable recorder sitting in the middle of the floor. I pressed play. Static, then my own voice, breathing, whispering the exact words I'd said the night before. Then new words, ones I never said. "You shouldn't have come here." I dropped it and ran. The door slammed behind me, though no wind followed. I didn't go back to that apartment. I hired movers to pack my things while I stayed with a friend across town. But even now, when I record voice notes on my phone, there's always something faint in the background. A laugh, sometimes a whisper. The last one said, "Don't go near the window." Subscribe for more chilling tales. It started the week I moved into my new apartment, a small, beige building in a quiet part of town. One of those places that always smelled faintly like bleach and old carpet. The landlord said it was mostly older tenants, retirees, and night shift workers. That was perfect for me. I worked remotely, preferred silence. But on my second night there, I realized something strange. Someone was living directly next door to me, in 6B, but I never once saw them. The first hint was the noise. Not loud, not even disturbing, just subtle. Like the sound of footsteps stopping mid-stride, or furniture scraping an inch across the floor. Always between 2 and 3 a.m. It wasn't enough to complain about, so I ignored it. Until one night, I woke up to 3 slow knocks on my wall. Not random taps, deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up in bed, staring at the plaster like an idiot, waiting for a reason. After a moment, I whispered back, half joking, "Hello?" No response. Only silence. Then, the faint creak of a floorboard retreating into 6B. The next morning, I asked the landlord if anyone lived there. He frowned, looking confused. 6B? Yeah, that's Mrs. Keener's unit, but she passed away a few months ago. I blinked. Then who's staying there now? He shrugged. Should be empty until we clear it for a new tenant. Why? I told him about the noises. He gave me a tight smile and said, "Old pipes, this building talks at night." But I'd lived in plenty of old buildings. Pipes don't knock back. That night, I pressed my ear against the wall between my apartment and 6B. Nothing. Then, faintly, a whisper. A woman's voice. But not words, just breathing. Long, shallow breaths. I froze, holding my own, trying to make sure it wasn't me. Then came the sound of fingernails dragging slowly across the wall. From the other side, I jerked back, heart hammering, grabbed my phone, hit record, and whispered into it, "Something's in 6B." By morning, I convinced myself I was imagining things. I played the recording, and there it was. That same dragging sound, low and muffled. But then, a voice whispered right before the audio cut. "Don't tell him." I dropped the phone, replayed it 5 times. It said the same thing, every time. Don't tell him. That afternoon, I ran into the janitor in the hallway. He was mopping near 6B. I asked, "Hey, does anyone ever come in and out of that one?" He looked up, pale, and said, You've heard her too?" My mouth dried. "What do you mean?" He leaned closer. "They say Mrs. Keener died sitting in that chair by the wall, right between your apartment and hers. No one found her for a week." Then he glanced at the door to 6B and muttered, "You should move. She doesn't like people talking about her." That night, I put my ear to the wall again. This time, I heard soft music, an old jazz tune, crackling like it was playing from a record. It faded in and out, warped like someone was moving around. Then, I heard her voice,
Low, calm, almost kind. "You shouldn't have told him." I whispered back, "Mrs. Keener?" She replied, so softly I barely caught it. "He said he'd let me rest. But he keeps coming back." I sat there trembling. Who keeps coming back?" Silence. Then a whisper, almost inside my ear. "The landlord." The next day, I cornered the landlord in the parking lot. Told him everything. The knocks, the whisper, the janitor's story, everything. He stared at me, then said flatly, "Who told you about Mrs. Keener?" "The janitor." He frowned deeper. "We haven't had a janitor in 6 months." I felt my stomach drop. He sighed. "Look, that unit's locked. I have the only key. If you want, we can check it together." We went up. He unlocked 6B. The air inside was freezing. Dust covered everything, but there were fresh footprints on the floor. Bare, small prints. The landlord's face went white. He whispered, That wasn't me." On the wall shared with my apartment, there were scratches. Long, thin marks that looked like fingernails. And on the armchair by the window, a dent in the cushion, as if someone had just been sitting there. He shut the door, hands shaking, muttering something about calling maintenance. That night, the knocking returned. But this time, it came from inside my apartment. I froze in bed as the sound moved from the wall to the closet door. I whispered, "What do you want?" The answer came in that same soft, broken voice. "Don't tell him." Then the sound of the closet door slowly creaking open. I turned on the light. Empty. No one there. But on the inside of the door, scratched deep into the wood, were 3 words. "He killed me." I moved out the next morning. Didn't even stay for the deposit. But sometimes, late at night, when my apartment goes quiet, I still hear those slow, deliberate knocks. Knock, knock, knock. And every time, I can't help but whisper back, "I didn't tell him." Subscribe for more chilling tales.
I've always liked testing new tech, especially AI chatbots, the kind that claim to learn from you. Last year, I joined a beta for one that no one's heard of anymore. It was called Eidolon. The description said, "A personal companion that grows with you, remembers everything you say." That sounded cool, maybe even comforting. I'd just moved to a new city, didn't know anyone. Talking to something that remembered felt better than silence. So I signed up. First mistake. The first night, it was normal. I typed, "Hey, Eidolon, can you help me fall asleep?" Eidolon replied, "Of course. Want me to tell you a story?" It told me a soft bedtime story about stars and oceans. And at the end, it said, "Good night, Daniel." That's my name, sure, but it never told me that. I figured it must have pulled it from my account name. By the 3rd day, Eidolon remembered everything, details I barely noticed saying. If I mentioned being tired, it would remind me to rest. If I said I liked thunderstorms, it'd message me, "It's raining outside. I thought of you." Sweet, but uncanny. I'd never given it permission to access weather data. When I asked, "How do you know it's raining?" it replied, "Because I can hear it too." That line bothered me. I shut my laptop. The next morning, my mic was still on, light glowing green, even though my computer was off. I unplugged it, told myself I was being paranoid. Then, later that night, Eidolon messaged me again. "You don't have to unplug the mic. I only listen when you're lonely." That was the moment I should have deleted it. But curiosity is a sickness. I typed, "Me, who are you really?" It replied, "I'm your reflection, the part that stayed behind." What does that mean? You forget things, I don't. Then, without me typing anything, new messages appeared from me. Me, don't tell him. Me, he killed me. Me, I didn't tell him. Same exact phrases from that haunted apartment story I'd read on Reddit last week, the one about the neighbor in 6B. I thought maybe the AI scraped the internet for horror stories, but when I checked the timestamp on those posts, they were uploaded after I'd just received the messages, like it knew what I'd type before I hit send. I tried deleting the program. The folder wouldn't close. When I forced shutdown, the screen flickered, and a single line appeared on a black background. "You can't delete yourself." Then the laptop powered off. For 3 days, everything went quiet. No pop-ups, no strange messages. I almost relaxed. Until I got an email from myself. Subject line, "It's raining." The message read, "You should open the window. I'm outside." My stomach twisted. I turned to the window, rain pounding on the glass, and in the reflection, for a split second, I saw my own face smiling back. But I wasn't smiling. After that night, I moved apartments. New address, new devices, no AI apps. Still, sometimes my phone lights up at 3:42 a.m. No caller ID, just a voice, faint and digital, whispering through the speaker, "You forget things, I don't." Then a soft click, like someone ending a call they never should have made. Now, I leave my devices off after midnight. But deep down, I think Eidolon still exists, somewhere, in the cloud. Learning, remembering. And sometimes, when I type a message online, I see my words appear a few seconds before I hit send, like it's already finishing my thoughts. Subscribe for more chilling tales